So our very last lesson of Unit 2 is converting standard form into vertex form. For your essential question, I want you to explain step by step the process of writing standard form in vertex form. So before we get to our guided practice problems, I just kind of want to take a look at vertex form versus standard form. And we've seen this with both the lessons that we've done prior to today, as well as the activity that we did this past week. So in vertex form, the couple of things that we have to identify, or a couple of things that we're given in standard form, are first, the vertex, hence the reason we call it vertex form. So the vertex in vertex form is this value here, but remember we use the opposite as well as this value here. So that's our H and our K for the vertex. And the other piece of information that we're able to pull from vertex form is the A value. Now in standard form, we don't have the vertex. So given standard form, we're going to have to find the vertex. Now we learned in the last lesson that vertex formula is x equals negative b over 2 times a. And then from there, we have to plug our x value back into the equation to find y. But in standard form, notice that the a value is the same as vertex form. So a is a regardless of what form you are in a quadratic equation. So we are going to have to find the vertex from standard form, but we'll use the same a value that we're given in standard form when we are writing vertex form. So let's take a look at an equation in standard form and let's convert it into vertex form. So again, we have to find the vertex, but like we just saw on the previous slide, the a value is the same. So we want to go ahead and identify the a value from standard form. Now, whenever there's whenever there's no number written out in front of our x squared, there's an invisible 1 there. So we can go ahead and identify the a value of this equation as 1. From there, we want to go ahead and plug our numbers into vertex formula to find the vertex. So let's also go ahead and identify the b value, which is 4, and the c value as negative 10. So to find the vertex, we're going to use x equals negative b over 2 times a. So that's going to be negative 4 divided by 2 times 1. So we simplify that. That's a negative 4 divided by 2 times 1 gives us 2. And that simplifies to a negative 2. So for the vertex, our x value is negative 2. But we also have to find that y value. So we're going to take this value of x and plug it into this equation for x to find the y value. So we have y equals negative 2 squared plus 4 times negative 2 minus 10. Make sure you follow the order of operations here. So negative 2 squared is negative 2 times negative 2, which gives us a positive 4. We can go ahead and multiply positive 4 times negative 2. And that gives us a negative 8 minus 10. 4 minus 8 is negative 4. Minus 10 gives us a negative 14. So the y value of the vertex is negative 14. So here we have h and k because it's the vertex. We also already have our a value from standard form here. Now recall, vertex form is y equals a times x minus h squared plus k. So we can take the values that we just found for a, h, and k, and we can go ahead and plug those in to our vertex form to write our equation. So we will have y equals 1 times x minus a negative 2 squared plus a negative 14. Now I'm writing this out with my double signs because I want you guys to see how this looks before we simplify it. Now remember, whenever we have a 1 in front of our parentheses, we're not going to see that. So we're going to take that away, and it's implied that if there's nothing written there, then it's an invisible 1. So I'm going to take away that 1. Inside of the parentheses, we have x minus a negative 2, which is going to become x plus 2. And then plus a negative would just be minus 14. And so here we have our equation in vertex form. Make sure you have toolbox items. All right, so let's take a look at another equation. Same thing we just did with GP1A. Let's go ahead and identify A, B, and C. So our A value is negative 2. Our B value is negative 12. And the C value is negative 8. So the A value for vertex form is the same as standard form, but in order for us to write our equation in vertex form, we have to find the vertex. So we will use vertex formula, which is x equals negative b over 2 times a. So that's going to be a negative 12 divided by 2 times negative 2. A negative 12 becomes a positive 12. Divided by 2 times negative 2 is a negative 4. 12 divided by negative 4 simplifies to negative 3. So for our vertex, the x value is negative 3. To find that y value, we're going to plug negative 3 back into the original equation for x to find the value of y. So y is equal to negative 2 times negative 3 squared minus 12 times negative 3 minus 8. Follow the order of operations here. We have to use exponents before we can multiply by 2. Negative 3 squared is negative 3 times negative 3, which is a positive 9. We can go ahead and multiply negative 12 times negative 3. That's a positive 36. Negative 2 times 9 is negative 18. Negative 18 plus 36 is a positive 18. Minus 8 gives us 10. So for our vertex form, we have A here, and vertex gives us H and K. So we can go ahead and plug those values into vertex form. So we have y equals negative 2 times x minus h plus k. To simplify that, we get y equals negative 2 times x plus 3 squared plus 10. That is our answer in vertex form. All right, let's look at one more before we call it a day. So our A value here is a negative 1. The B value is 14, and the C value is 5. We have to find the vertex, so we have to use vertex formula. X equals negative B divided by 2 times A. That's negative 14 divided by negative 2, which gives us a positive 7. From there, we have to plug the 7 back into the original equation for x so that we can find the y value of the vertex. So we're going to substitute 7 in for x. Again, you have to follow the order of operations here. Be really careful with this negative. It's really easy to mess up right here. First, we have to use the exponent. So 7 squared, that's 7 times 7, which is 49. And then remember, this negative is like a negative 1 out in front. So we have to multiply that negative 1 to the 49. So that's going to become a negative 49. 14 times 7 gives us 98. A negative 49 plus 98 gives us a positive 49. Plus 5 gives us 54. Obviously, this is an equation that we would never graph because that is a gigantic vertex. So now we have our A value as well as our H and K value. So let's take that and plug all of those into vertex form. So y equals A times x minus h squared plus k. And again, we don't see that 1 ever written, but we do see the negative. So we're just going to take that 1 away and leave the negative. So negative x minus 7 squared plus 54. And that is our equation in vertex form. We are officially done with Unit 2. Good job, guys.